Welcome to the Rich and Regular podcast presented by Rich and Regular. That's going to take some getting used to.
It's going to take some getting used to. Buckle up, YouTube. We've got some news. So let's get into it. So for those of you who may only know us through our YouTube series like Money on the Table or the Cashing Out podcast, what you may not know is that we are also traditional podcast hosts. We've been hosting a show called the Rich and Regular podcast for a little over 2 years. And in that time, we've had so much fun. We have grown tremendously and we've gotten a little bit of accolade for it. We've gotten over 3 million downloads in that time. We've earned over 300 positive 5-star ratings and reviews. And we've even picked up a little media mention every now and then. You know, we've made it on some best of lists, some top podcast lists, which, you know, is nothing to sniff at.
Yeah, we're really happy with the work that we've done so far, but I can't front. I think we kind of want more. We want it to be bigger. We want to reach more people. And so we're really excited to announce 4 big changes to the Rich and Regular podcast.
Yes. All right. So change number 1 might seem a little bit obvious, but for those that don't know, Rich and Regular podcast was audio only. You might have caught a few episodes on YouTube because we uploaded the audio, but you really didn't get to see our faces. And so the first big change is that we're going to start putting the camera in front of us as we record. We're going to invite you into our little world, our studio / basement / what my son calls the theater, because this is where he watches movies. But we're going to invite you in and let you watch us create the podcast every single week.
I mean, we do actually record here. We just never actually turned on the camera and then turn that into a video and publish that video here on YouTube. So we're really excited to add this added dimension to the podcast landscape.
Yes. So if you listen to us on your favorite podcast player, we'll still be there. But if you are a follower on YouTube exclusively, then you'll get to see it here as well. So the second big change is that our podcast is no longer presented by Success Magazine. So for those who didn't know, our podcast was actually published in 2 different places. There was the Rich and Regular podcast stream, which is the one that has our faces on it. And then it was published again separately as a part of the Success Podcast Network. So if you were subscribed to the Rich and Regular podcast, again, you know you're in the right place. If you see our faces, then there's nothing that you need to do. New episodes will continue to show up there. But if you were listening to us on the Success Podcast Network, what you'll need to do is go over to the Rich and Regular podcast, subscribe there, because our episodes aren't going to be loaded in the Success Podcast Network stream anymore. So if you want to hear the new episodes, you got to go over there to where we are and, you know, leave a little 5-star review while you're there as well.
Yeah, and if you listen to podcasts here on YouTube, well, it really doesn't change anything unless you're not actually subscribed to our YouTube channel. So if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do that now. And that way you'll get all the things that we've already done in addition to new video episodes of the Rich and Regular podcast. Okay, so the third big change is that we are going to be bringing on guests to the Rich and Regular podcast. Now, we have brought on, I think, maybe 2 guests in the past, not a lot. Primarily, whenever you would listen to that podcast, it would just be me and Kiersten. But going forward, we are looking forward to incorporating other points of views, interviewing people, authors, personal finance experts, entrepreneurs, you name it. If it has something to do with money and it's a good money story, we want to hear about it. So we've got a short list of people that we're definitely already in contact with to have them on as some of our early guests. But if you guys have some recommendations, please don't hesitate. Send us a note at hello@richandregular.com, or even better, just tag them in the comments below and say, hey, I would love to see this person at, do your little tippity tap and send us that little tag. That way we know exactly who you're talking about and we can take it from there.
Yes, do not be afraid to clickety clack in them comments, because at the end of the day, we're not just looking for people who have huge social media followings or these extraordinary money stories. We're looking for anything that's interesting and anything that you think people can learn from, even if it's yours. It doesn't have to be a life story. It can just be one event that you're very proud of, or one, you know, crazy situation that you found yourself in. We'd love to talk to you about it. And I'm excited about bringing interviews to the show because, as you know, we have deep relationships in the financial space and we meet all kinds of interesting people through our own platform. And so the ability to amplify those stories and start to tell other versions of Rich and Regular is just a really exciting time.
Yeah. All right. Number 4, the fourth and final big changes coming to the Rich and Regular podcast is really just going to be about the format. Again, we've been doing this show for about 2 years now. And if you've been listening from the beginning, then you pretty much know what that template or that format is. Every single episode is basically follow that format, but we're kind of taking that and breaking it, right? We're going to get a little bit more creative. Again, this is really about being able to tell the best stories, dive as deep as possible as a particular topic requires. And so previously, an episode might have been somewhere between 35 and 40 minutes. It might be longer. It might be shorter. It might be a part of a 3-part series. There might be a conversation that we're having with the guest that really requires 2 separate episodes. Whatever it is, if it requires us to go that deep or to get a little bit more creative to make sure that we squeeze the juice out of that topic that's necessary, then we're willing to do that.
Yeah, I think a lot has changed in the space, in the podcasting space over the last 2 years. And so it's going to be interesting to tinker with our format to allow for the nuance and the complexity of the economy, which has also changed over the last 2 years. I mean, there's all kinds of shifts that we want to explore, all kinds of gaps and changes. And I look forward to having the freedom within a formatting construct to explore the way that we want to. All right. So what do we need from you? It's really just 2 little things. Just 2 little things. Just two. The first one is to subscribe to the Rich and Regular podcast if you haven't already done so. Again, you'll know you're in the right place if you see our face and the Rich and Regular name. And then just hit that subscribe button. And while you're there, if you're feeling froggy, scroll on down to the stars and just tap the 5th one and leave us a 5-star rating and review. And the second thing is really just to engage with us. We want to hear from you. The show is changing in the best possible ways, and we'd like to include your feedback as we make adjustments. So leave a comment below. Let us know what you want to see, who you want to hear us talk to, what you want to hear us talk about, and we'll do our best to try and make it happen.
Yeah, so listen, it's the end of 2023 now, but we are very much looking forward to all of these new and exciting changes for the Rich and Regular podcast. We're excited about creating it. We're excited about sharing it, and we're really, really excited to hear more from you guys and to spend more time here on YouTube. So until then, stay subscribed, stay engaged, and we will see you guys soon.
Peace.